Just give me one moment, folks. There we go. What is going on, YouTubers, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Natural Born Thriller, and welcome everyone to All Elite Wrestling Reviews. I'll be giving you two results pertaining to AEW. One of them will be Dark, and one of them, one of them will be Dynamite. So let me just change something here. But before I do, if this is the first time you're experiencing yours truly, Natural Born Thriller, right here on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. If you like what I'm about to do here, to all the supporters, hit that like button. If you hate what I'm about to do here, to all the haters, hit the dislike button. By the way, thank you for joining me, viewing me, right here on YouTube, spending your time day and night with yours truly, Robert Stanley Jr., aka the Natural Born Thriller. As I try to give you the absolute best content I can, starting off with this All Elite Wrestling Reviews, where I give you AEW Dark results and AEW Dynamite results. So just give me one moment to get everything all set up, and I'll get right back to you. Let's start off with this All Elite Wrestling review as I give you AEW Dark results from September 29th, 2020. This was obviously from last week's AEW Dark that I did watch, and your commentators were Excalibur and Taz, while they were at Daily's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. And absolute Ricky Starks as I'm joining on commentary too, which I'll get to that part when I get to it. But yeah, the opening match for AEW Dark was Ray, Rosas, and Rising. Now I don't know who Ray Rosas is. I thought he looked decent in the match, and yeah, and I wanted to see more of him. And in a way, we did get to see more of him too, which pertains to the this week's AEW Dark. I'll get to that when I get to it. You know, eventually sometime this week, pertains to that review. But yeah, but they go up against SCU's own Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. This match itself was pretty good. This tag team match obviously was pretty good, with Kaz and Sky getting the win with SCU later. All right, folks, get ready for a rant here. Yes, our rant to AEW pertains to this next match. This was the debut match of the Pink Dream, Alex Gracia from Texas. I can't remember if she was from San Antonio, Texas, Austin, Texas, somewhere from Texas that she's from. Also, she's also Mexican, and she's pretty good. And she's got a very unique look, what pertains to her lingerie robe, which is pink. And you know everything. She's all pink because she is the Pink Dream. She was trained in Stardom alongside also with Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa. So why the rant for this one? Well, I'll tell you why. She goes up against the bad girl, Penelope Ford, being accompanied by super bad Kip Sabian. And you're wondering, why is that bad? Well, I'm gonna get to why. The booking of this match, I'm gonna go through how this match ended up happening. Penelope Ford with an arm drag takedown. Gracia steps up and Penelope drops her with a slam. Can't remember what kind of slam it was, but Gracia follows up with a running drop kick. And that was the only offense that Alex Gracia ever had in this match, was a running drop kick to Penelope Ford, which sends her to the outside. But Penelope, baits Gracia to go outside, and Gracia goes outside only for Penelope Ford to step back into the ring. Gracia hesitates to actually stands there with a dumb look on her face. She gets in the ring, and then she gets a knee to the face. I believe it was the knee to the face or knee to the temple in a way to get by Penelope Ford as she was trying to go to the ropes, to get back in the ring. Penelope Ford pulls her back in the middle of the ring, drags her, and basically gets the upper hand on Alex Gracia. Fireman's carry into a gutbuster, only get a 2 count, and then goes for a fisherman suplex, which you can see as you watch the show on YouTube, on the YouTube channel of All Elite Wrestling. This was heavily taped. This was heavily edited because Alex Gracia looked like she was going to counter the move, and all of a sudden, before went for the move anyways, and got the win. So I'm saying to myself, what the hell happened in this match? And first of all, the match itself was garbage. It was sloppy. It looked like they had no chemistry whatsoever. It looked like they was not working well together in the match. This was garbage. I cannot believe that this is how they booked Alex Gracia in-ring debut against Penelope Ford. And yes, it may be on Dark, but this is her debut on AEW. I'm pretty sure she was considered to come to AEW because of Thunder Rosa. Yes, Thunder Rosa, is catching fire right now in professional wrestling. She's always been catching fire, but with her to AEW standards, she's getting there, and hopefully she'll get there. But I wanted the exact same thing to happen with Alex Gracia as well. Based on how they did this did not make Alex Gracia look good. In fact, they made out to bury her, to make her look like a jobber, and she got completely squashed. The only offense in the match she got was a single leg drop kick. That's all she got. The rest of the match was Penelope Ford. And why Penelope Ford had to look strong in this match? All for to make her look good to the stupid wedding segment whenever they're going to do it for AEW between Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian. You got Alex Gracia, who's one of the best women's wrestlers out there, and not no one knows about her because she just get the recommendation. Thunder Rosa tries very hard to put her name out there too, and all. Especially when it pertains to the interview that she did with Chris Jericho on Talk to Jericho, put her over that she's very good. She's pretty good. She trained with her in Japan, which is at Stardom. And I was very excited to see her, wrestling on the AEW Dark against Penelope Ford. But based on how they booked this match, neither woman looked good in this match because it was sloppy, it was botchy in a way. I just don't understand the booking of this match. I don't understand the heavily edited of the finish of the match when Penelope Ford went for a fisherman suplex. Well, there's more to it this match. That they had to edit some parts out of it because they realized how bad this match was and how bad the booking of this match was. I expected Alex Gracia to show a little more of offense in the match. Just the same of Alex Gracia, who wrestled against Thunder Rosa, not just in Stardom but also here in America. And I'm pretty sure they wrestle elsewhere too. And she, Alex Gracia, she's pretty good. She knows how to wrestle. She knows how to wrestle pretty good. She's very competitive in the ring. And then they have her lose, in a squash fashion to Penelope Ford, and this is not an indictment to Penelope Ford, because Penelope Ford is good too, but based on how this performance was, it was not good at all. Both of them didn't look good in this match at all. I don't know what happened. I don't know who booked this match, who was in charge, who's in charge of this match. For these two to have a bad performance. But after this, I will not have Alex Gracia come back again after this. I mean, she still stayed around over to last week's watching the show AEW Dynamite, and then see what she's still doing with AEW at for this week's AEW Dark, which I'll get to a little bit more of that when I get to it. But it's not much to talk about. But still, if I was in Alex Garcia's shoes, and I was being positioned where they put me like that, I would never come back. This is AEW, and this is AEW we're talking about here. I expect this from WWE doing this type of shit to Alex Garcia, but AEW doing this shit to her? Are you kidding me? Alex Gracia deserves better than that. Hopefully, she gets another chance, which is why she still showed up. Now she didn't wrestle this week, but hopefully they give her another chance. They really show that what she's made of, because she is pretty good. The fact that they don't even know how good she is why they booked the match to begin with. And I'm like, where's Thunder Rosa in all this? And Thunder Rosa gave her a shout too. Since her making her debut, everyone was giving Alex Garcia a shout out of her debut on AEW. Since to wrestling on AEW Dark, but the performance it was not so great at all. It was not a great debut at all, as a matter of fact. I mean, it was good that she ends up showing up, but what the fuck? You gotta do better with these women's wrestlers. And just don't go with women's wrestlers. Also with male wrestlers too. Don't be treating male wrestlers that way too. You could treat Ben Carter pretty good as a wrestler. And all props to Ben Carter, because he's pretty good too. But I expect you to treat Alex Garcia the same way too, because she's good too. She could do a 619. She could do some swing shot styles of Eddie Guerrero, but with her own style. She's very athletic. She's pretty good. I didn't see the Pink Dream Alex Garcia. I saw the Pink Nightmare after watching this match. Hopefully they give them another chance, and hopefully they'll do better this time, because this match was not good. It was that bad. This match made Brandy Rose's match look great. Next match. Best friends Trent and Chuck Taylor defeated Maboda and BSHB King. Match itself was pretty good. Like I said, best friends won, and they're building up best friends where eventually they're going to face FTR. So there you go. Randy Cutler cuts a promo to Peter Avalon. Bringing up their matches. The match pertains to both losing and basically expecting a rematch for the two, where they're going to have a clean winner this time, and we'll see how that turns out. So there you go. And it was a good promo from Brandon Cutler. Jurassic Express features Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus being accompanied by Marco Stunt Growth versus the Dark Orders 5 and 10. Match itself was pretty decent, with Jurassic Express getting the win with the Jurassic Express cutter, and there you go. I can't remember if the rest of Dark Order I'll try to get involved too, but I just did on that. But yeah, I thought the match itself was decent. So Sean Dean and Cesar Bononi, the former NXT wrestler who was there, teamed up with Sean Dean, going up against the Gun Club, which is Billy and Austin Gunn, being accompanied by their son, Austin's brother and Billy's son, Colton Gunn. Match itself was pretty decent, and I love the interaction and the stare down and the stalemate. The squaring off of Billy Gunn and Cesar Bononi, because both guys are pretty big. Cesar Bononi is actually a little bigger, but Billy Gunn is not far from there. But it was a pretty decent match with the Gun Club winning. We get the natural nightmares, excuse me, which is QT Marshall, Dustin Rose, and Brandy Rose addressing the Dark Order of everything has been going on. So, and there you go. And Brandy, you have to throw in there a little jab at Anna Jay because of the whole thing where she lost because of Austin and First and everything. Basically, in a way, saying putting over Anna Jay for beating her, but also making an excuse of why she lost. And I hate that shit. In wrestling they do this with John Cena as well. And I hate that they gotta do this with Brandy Rose because Brandy Rose thinks she's a great wrestler, but she's not. She thinks she's that good, but she's not. She's okay. Every time that she's garbage, but other than that, yeah, I just didn't like that. But it's not here or there. Ty Conti versus Red Velvet. Good match, by the way, between Ty Conti and Red Velvet, with Ty Conti winning the match with the it was like an orthodox choke submission that she did. It was very innovative in a way because Ty Conti, she's got a fighting background, so she could come up with any type of submission holds that she can do, to a wrestling style, and she did, and Red Velvet ends up tapping out. After the match, Anna Jay of the Dark Order comes out to congratulate Ty Conti for winning the match. Also, she helps out Red Velvet, but then turns on Red Velvet, and Ty Conti was like, "Well, what are you doing?" And all of a sudden, she wants to continue on beating up on Red Velvet. All of a sudden, Brandy Rose rushes in and chases both of them out, and checks in on Velvet. So I'm assuming it's gonna be leading up where it's gonna be Anna Jay and Tay Conti, reuniting the Ty J or the J Ty. I can't remember what was the tag team name of Anna Jay and Ty Conti go up against Red Velvet and Brandy Rose. I bet you that's gonna happen. Now I don't think it's gonna happen on Dynamite, but if it does, great. But I think it's gonna happen on Dark though, because they're doing this more on Dark than they are on Dynamite. So, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued though. I'm intrigued what they're gonna do with this. So there you go. Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison takes on Chaos Project, excuse me, which is Dr. Luther and Serpentico. Match itself was pretty decent with the Chaos Project winning the match, and there you go. The same match. Obviously building up Dr. Luther because of what happened on Dynamite, which I'll get to when I get to it. Nyla Rose, the Native Beast, being accompanied by Vicky Guerrero, versus Rachel Chanel. And match itself, it was basically Nyla Rose winning, but Rachel Chanel, she did get some offense in the match too, more offense than how AEW got Alex Gracia penned up before, but that's not here. Again, that's not here or there. But hey, the match itself was I enjoyed the match though. Rotates to this whole thing where Chanel took a nasty bumps for Nyla Rose, showcasing how much of a bitch that she can be. So yeah, that was great. I mean, the match is not great. Rachel, Rachel Chanel, looked great, losing to Nyla Rose and pumping for her. But I'm saying the match itself was decent. So the Natural Nightmares, QT Marshall and Dustin Rose, being accompanied by, I believe Brandy Rose was out there with them. I can't remember if she was or not, but they went against John Cena and Coben. And I believe maybe Evil Uno was out there for them. And the match itself was pretty decent with the Natural Nightmares winning the match. And that was and that was it for the show, folks. And the results of it were retained to AEW Dark from September 29th, 2020. Let me double check if it. Oh yeah, it is that date. Talking about wrestling, which I'm about to check right now. Nine matches. Yeah, 9 matches. We're talking about, yes, the 9 matches we're talking about. And my overall trend for the show, I'm gonna give the show a 6 out of 10. Now, I would have given the show at least a 7 or an 8 out of 10. But after that, Alex Gracia booked the match, which is why I had to take the match down. The ratings down for it. So, like, seriously, man, you cannot treat one of the best women's wrestlers out there, you know, that no one doesn't know about, because she is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. And the way that they treat her, they made her treat like she wasn't the best women's wrestler in the world. They made her look like she a regular wrestler, just in there to do a job and get the payday. Do better with Alex Gracia. But that was your results for AEW Dark. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be back in a moment to give you results of AEW Dynamite from September 30th, 2020. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that, folks. I'm back. So now let's get to your AEW Dark results. Continue on with this all wrestling reviews. I already give you my AEW Dark results. Now let's get to the AEW Dynamite results. Show from September 30th, 2020. We have Cool GR Jim Ross, Taz, Excalibur on commentary, because Tony Schiavone went to do something else, which we'll get to. So oh yeah, I forgot to mention too, by the way, folks. Ricky Starks, absolute Ricky Starks, has been on commentary for Dark. When before the match started between Alex Garcia versus Pillar before. That's one thing I didn't get to mention. And they talk about how he just wore a shirt because basically on that whole thing. But as far as Ricky Stark was doing, he was pretty good, obviously, because he's a good talker, a great talker, I should say, to say the least. So yeah, that's gonna be Ricky Stark's team moving forward on AEW Dark. Whenever he doesn't have a match, he's gonna be on commentary along with Taz and Excalibur on Dark, just like he did again this past week, which it was yesterday on YouTube, AEW Dark, which I'll get to that eventually. But I'm thinking about something else too, where it's this whole thing, moving forward AEW Dark thing. So we'll see how that turns out though. But basically, I'll let you know. Yeah, as it goes, as the day goes by. But back to this: Taz, Jim Ross, and Excalibur on commentary, while Tony Schiavone was backstage, which we'll get to. But the opening match was Absolute Ricky Starks versus Enigma, Darby Allin, and the opening match was great between Ricky Starks and Darby Allin. These guys were back and forth. These guys were basically killing each other in this match. Brian Case came out, only for the minute with Will Hobbs, and they start brawling all the way to the back, and the match will continue on, and and they continue on to that Darby Allin with a unique coffin drop onto Ricky Starks and gets the win. Now I don't know if this could be the end of the feud. I doubt it's the end of the feud between the two. I want to see more of this match. If they doing a series of matches between these two guys, leading up to Full Gear maybe, or maybe they're getting a spot in the tournament maybe, which I'm talking more about that when I get to it. But yeah, we'll see. By the way, we're testing this whole thing. I don't remember if I did the live reactions for last week. I think I did. For AEW Dark, AEW Dynamite, excuse me, for last week. Yeah, actually, it was from last week that I did do that. And yeah, um, basically, those tournament announcements, we'll get to that part when we get to it, because those things I didn't hear about when I missed it, because I was I don't remember what happened, how I got my mind off it, that when something happened, but we'll get to that when we get to it. With the whole team of Hangman at the page on commentary. But yeah, then we get Cody Rhodes coming out there. He gets interviewed by Dasher Gonzalez, and she asks Cody Rhodes all about the injuries that he's going through right now and how he's feeling. Cody Rhodes says that his trainer, Al Snow, says that he says you always wrestle hurt, but never wrestle injured. He brings up how before the pandemic, wrestlers always shook hands before I mean because it's a sign of respect, especially to those that are marquee. And then says that he brings up how he was on the marquee, but then lost in 3 minutes. He basically acknowledged that he lost to Mr. Brody Lee in 3 minutes. Shortly after, he gets a call from Highwood to sit down and have some big names on a new show. Which is the what's it called again? The show he's gonna be doing. Whole the so I think it's called the So Big Show, something like that. I can't remember what it was called. But anyways, but Kubo said he wondered who he is, and what got what and he's just a guy who lost in 3 minutes. He says while he's been gone, he listened to what's been going on. Says that the only person who can call themselves the ace of the company, likely referring to Kenny Omega, and also Tetsuya Hikaru and John Moxley, or Mr. Brody Lee himself. And then Dasha Gonzalez asks Cody, well, what about the challenge that Mr. Brody Lee wants you to accept? Basically the dog collar match. And Cody says that the match is very brutal and one of the most EVPs of the company. And his answer is no. This is Cody Rhodes saying this. He says no as he leaves the ring, heads up to the stage, but then also heads back into the ring and says, no, as in no regrets and everything. And he's like, yes, I accept. And all of a sudden, Mr. Brody Lee, the Exalted One, the AEW TNT champion, comes out and goes after Cody Rhodes, and they start brawling. And also we get securities, we get the AEW Dark wrestlers coming in to intervene. This whole pull apart going on. Referees come out there too, the pull for this whole pull apart. Brandy Rhodes comes out of nowhere, from the stage and climbs up the top rope, power onto the to the Dark Order, who came out the 2-by-way. And I say to myself, that was stupid. And then Anna Jay came out of nowhere, where she should have came out, where Brandy Rhodes should have came out, is where Anna Jay came out. She came out from the crowd, from the sections, and she went to Brandy Rhodes and tried to put her in the super hole. But Brandy Rhodes, was wise at this time. She got out of it, and they start brawling, and then we get pulled apart from these women's as well. And then all of a sudden, while this whole pull apart's going on, for whatever reason happened, I don't know what happened here. It came out of the ordinary. Nyla Rose attacks Kellen King. I even react to it when I was watching it, live reacting to it. When I did the live reactions last week, I was saying to myself, what the hell happened here? Like, did something happen on Dark of why Nyla Rose went after Kellen King? And after watching Dark, which I already got the results of it, there's nothing that Nyla Rose and Kellen King did confront each other, or why Nyla Rose even did what she did on that show. I don't know what happened. Like, did Kellen King may bump into her, accidentally when this whole pull apart was going on between Anna Jay and Brandy Rose? That Rose find that very offensive, and she went Kellen King for that. I don't know. I look back at it and everything. That's so. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what prevented Rose to do this to Kellen King. I'm pretty sure Kellen King didn't know what was going on with that one too. But yeah, another week of chaos, a cluster chaos in a way going on where Randy Rose and Andre fighting. kind of is getting destroyed by by Nyla Rose, Cody Rose and Brody Lee are fighting, still fighting everything. It was complete mayhem, and I loved it. Eventually it stopped. Also, we get Tony Schiavone backstage, F, you interviewing FTR and Tully Blanchard. So Tony Schiavone brings up how the champions were supposed to wrestle the best friends, but didn't work out as planned. So Capulus says best friends are participating trophy guys and don't deserve a match with them yet. Saying that the SCU on the other hand are worthy enough because they're former tag team champions. So Dax Harwood said, basically asked the Young Bucks. He asked about the Young Bucks, excuse me, and a match for them. Harwood brings up Matt and Nick Jackson. Had shots and everything, but they have continually blown their opportunities. So Josh Ryan starts talking about what happens what's gonna happen at Full Gear then when it comes up. All of a sudden, we see super kicks coming out of nowhere from the Young Bucks off camera, and then Matt Jackson appears on camera. And for whatever reason, Nick Jackson refused to show himself on camera. I say to myself, what's going on here? Why for the past few weeks Nick Jackson is avoiding himself being on camera, especially when it comes to filming a vlog, for the shows of being the elite. Like what's going on with Nick Jackson? I don't know what's going on. He's there. He is there, but for whatever reason, he's not showing himself on camera for whatever God knows whatever reason why he's not showing himself on camera. It's pretty weird. It's strange too, though. Maybe he's growing a beard. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know. But whatever is going on here, it's saying right there, So Matt Jackson says, I'm sorry, and everything, and he's hey Nick, wait for me, and everything. And the FTR is like, well, why don't you super kick us then? Why don't you super kick us and everything, right? Yeah, it was a complete mess, though, folks. Also, we go backstage again, where Dasha Gonzalez is interviewing STU, Scorpio Sky and Rick Kazarian, where Kazarian is asked about, he says something about, they're going to become tag team champions again for the second time, guaranteed. And then, also we see, Scorpio Sky's going to promo too about this whole thing too as well. For whatever reason, Shawn Spears is standing there on the side, and then Scorpio Sky sees him and everything. And I say to myself, is this going to play to a match? To the match that they're going to have? We'll get to that part when we get to it. Because next we get to Scorpio Sky, Kazarian, SCU, being accompanied by Christopher Daniels, heading to the ring, going up against FTR, being accompanied by Tully Blanchard in the AEW World Tag Team Championship, which is a tournament element, which is the stipulation that FTR made from last week. Can't remember what they called it again, but yeah. But also, you had the Hangman, Adam Page, on commentary, and he's drinking as usual, because he's drunk man, Adam Page, who can't handle his liquor though. So match happens. And by the way, Jim Ross on commentary, which is the Hangman, Adam Page, he's or to King Omega, mentioned King Omega, that he's focusing more on singles career than he is tag team. And Page is like, he's doing it too, but also he also have plans with him and King Omega, being tag team champions again and everything. And we'll get to more of that when we get to after what happened after the match. As far as the match was between FTR versus SCU, this match was the best match on the show, folks. It was pretty damn good. FTR, Cash Wheeler did the Eddie Guerrero spot where he tripped himself as he went to the ropes and blamed Christopher Daniels for tripping him, which obviously Christopher Daniels never tripped him, which led Paul Turner to kick him out. And they'll do more of the playbooks of chain tactics of tag team FTR to SCU, and it worked out pretty well, obviously, because it's FTR. And Tully Blanchard helped out too, where it tends to tripping the leg of Scorpio Sky, shades of Ultimate Warriors like being tripped by Robbie the Brain Heenan as Rick Rude pins him while referee looking, while Bobby Heenan's holding the foot down of Warrior, and Rick Rude gets the win back in WrestleMania 5. And it happened here with FTR here, where it tends to, Tully Blanchard, Blanchard's went onto the foot of Scorpio Sky with him and kick out in the win. Referee didn't see it. Didn't see it, and there you go. Okay, good match. It was the best match on the show there, and I appreciate this tag team match. It was pretty good. So after the match was over, that's when the commentators made an announcement. An 8-man tournament. It's a singles tournament, elimination, where the finals at Full Gear will face each other, where the opportunity, where the winner will get an opportunity to face the AEW World Champion. And 3 participants have been announced so far. You have Jungle Boy, you have Ray Phoenix, and Kenny Omega. And this was where Hangman Adam Page, choked on his beer. I mean, not beer, choked on his liquor a little bit. He was shocked and surprised and depressed that Kenny Omega was announced to this match. And that's why I was wondering what was going on while I was doing the live reaction. I was wondering what was going on with that one because I didn't catch that part. I didn't catch what happened there because I missed the part what happened with the Hangman Adam Page, and that's why. And Hangman Adam Page leaves, disappointed and sad because Kenny Omega is really serious about moving on from tag team and continuing on his singles run, his singles career, and that was it. So there you go. And then obviously it has nothing to do with the show, but we watched Being the Elite this past week's Being the Elite. Hangman and Page going to promo back outside with Brandon Cutler, with the whole thing with Hangman and Page being upset and everything. It was pretty good. It was a very fire, passionate promo. I just wish they would have added this one for also on the show. Where it tends to Hangman and Page leaving the building. That should be part of the show of last week's Dynamite instead of Being the Elite. Now, again, I don't know if they want to make this part of the Being the Elite show, but hell, man, I was hoping this will be added to last week's show instead of this week's Being the Elite show. So there you go. But anyways, Chris Jericho being accompanied by Sammy Guevara, Jake Hager, Santana Ortiz of the Inner Circle versus Isaiah Cassidy of Private Party being accompanied by Matt Hardy, who's still there, and Mark Quinn. Matt Hardy, go home. Go home and rest. You're supposed to be going home and rest. That was the whole point of why you cut that promo weeks ago in the first place. It's for you to go home to your wife, to your kids, and rest. You should not be out there. And on top of that, with him being there, if he's gonna be there, why they're not playing out of who's why they're not solving this whole mystery of who attacked Matt Hardy? If he's gonna be there, at least do a segment where they're doing a even for Being the Elite, of this whole thing of who attacked Matt Hardy, because Chris Jericho said he didn't do it. I thought anyone of the circle did it. If they did do it, then there should be a segment on the show then, or at least a segment of Being the Elite of who done it, who attacked Matt Hardy. They should be investigating this whole thing. If Matt Hardy's going to be there, but and he is there, so why not do it? Otherwise, what's the point of him being there? He can't compete. He's not cleared to wrestle. So why is he still there? But as far as Chris Jericho versus Isaiah Cassidy, Chris Jericho made Isaiah Cassidy look like $1 million in this match. Isaiah Cassidy looked great in this match, and this match was good. Obviously, it was going to lead to Isaiah Cassidy losing, which he did, but he sold the juice effect pretty well. He's done before where he sold the juice effect by Chris Jericho before, but in this singles match, it really showed that Isaiah Cassidy. Yeah, Isaiah Cassidy looked great against Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho may look like $1 million. But during the match too, Jericho bumped into Luther outside, where they had a comfort. They had they fought a little bit, and then the match could resume after that. But then Chris Jericho isn't winning against Isaiah Cassidy. After the match, the Inner Circle attacks Isaiah Cassidy while you have Matt Hardy get in the ring with a steel chair and Mark Quinn, Mark Quinn coming in there to help out his boy. And while this was all going on too, Jericho goes right after Dr. Luther, his longtime friend, by the way, for those who don't know. And Jake Hager went after Serpentico, and basically Jericho Hager fighting with Chaos Project, and then it ended after that. More chaos going on the show here, folks. It was great. I enjoyed it. Very, very good. And obviously, it's going to lead to a match between, for the next Dynamite show, which I will be watching later on. There's been a lot of good build-ups for leading up for Jericho, for his 30th anniversary show. That's going to be on tonight's AEW Dynamite show, and I cannot wait. Kip Sabian and Miro is somewhere at an arcade game, where they're gonna plan doing this epic bachelorette party. Miro is talking to someone about wanting to make the best party ever. And also we see Billy Mitchell. Now I don't know much of Billy Mitchell, but what I hear about Billy Mitchell, he's a video game record holder, a legendary a legend in rotates of video games of record holder forever and everything. He shows up out of nowhere and he basically lets Miro know that he knows some people that can help with to do a wild party, and obviously it's going to lead to some video gamers for this bachelorette party. I'm pretty sure it's going to be good. The bachelorette party until we get to the on the wedding the whole wedding segment between Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, with Miro being the best man. But as of right now, they've been up to this whole bachelorette party for Kip Sabian, and hopefully we also see a bachelorette party too, which is Penelope Ford. Hopefully they'll do some summer party, lingerie party, some to that degree. I'm just saying, but anyways, but there you go. Dasha Gonzalez, she interviews best friends Trent and Chuck Taylor, also with them. Firstly, squeeze the baddest man on the planet, Orange Cassidy. But they mentioned they were at mentally and with how things went last week, and also FTR comes in and interrupts and say that they saved them from having a match because they would have embarrassed them and retains to them not being mega clear, not being 100% in a way. Some teams he says some teams up are way up high on the card, and best friends are not high on the card. They are low on the card, and also FTR was going to leave. Also, and best friend stops them, and Batista is going to beat them up, basically make them flinch. And then Isaiah Cassidy tells the FTR that they're weenies. Chuck Taylor may said this too before, by the way, folks. Which I was assuming it was last week's show as well. No, I'm sorry, not last week. 2 weeks ago, I meant to say, not last week. This review I'm doing right now is from last week. So yeah, I believe 2 weeks ago, Chuck Taylor may have called them weenies before. I think I remember seeing. I remember Chuck Taylor calling them weenies when they were ducking them for a match. And now this time, Isaiah Cassidy's calling them weenies. So from last week, I meant to say. Which is what I'm letting you know right now. We're giving this feedback of this review. So we get Isaiah Cassidy. I mean, not Isaiah Cassidy. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Orange Cassidy, freshly squeezed, being accompanied by best friends, going up against 10 of the Dark Order, being accompanied by John Silver, 5, and Coco Pena. Match itself, it was alright. It was entertaining for what it was. I still enjoyed it though. I was having fun watching the show, and I enjoyed watching this match too. Isaiah Cassidy gets to win, obviously. He goes for the beach break. First the orange punch, and then for the beach break, and gets to win. And Orange Cassidy, excuse me, gets to win. And there you go. MJF with Warlow, he heads to the locker room of the Inner Circle, and he got some gifts. He got some Inner Circle jackets with their names on them, except for Sammy Guevara. And then MJF blames Warlow, for not having another spare. And then Sammy Guevara was like, I don't care. Like, he's like, what the hell are you doing here? And then Joker was like, hey, I got this. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? And I'm like, oh my god, this is pure gold. So MJF and Jericho are still doing this whole thing, like they did a year ago too as well, folks, where Jericho's asking MJF, do you still want to be part? Do you want to be in the inner circle? And then MJF's like, do you want me to be in the inner circle? Basically, they're doing this whole thing again last year, and they're doing it again this year. Um, and then also we get some tensions between Warlow and Jake Hager. And I was saying to myself, oh, that's got to be a matchup we got to see. Now, obviously, it's going to lead to something where Jericho and MJF's going to have a match. And then eventually, we're going to have Jericho and Hager have a match against MJF and Warlow. Eventually, that's going to happen. But anyway, so as they're leaving, MJF and Warlow, Jericho says Warlow loser. And then Jericho said, no, hold on. Perhaps not. So there you go. So yeah, it was good. It was entertaining. It was funny. It was good. It was good. I want to see where this is going. With this whole thing that's going on right now. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, being accompanied by Reba, not Rebel. They're going by Reba here. So I guess I gotta go with Reba. Now I know what I'm saying, folks. Now I'm even confusing myself here. But this is Britt Baker's in-ring return, and she goes up against Red Velvet. And shockingly, this match was good. Britt Baker actually looked good. Yes, folks, your ears not deceiving you. Yes, the world's not coming to an end. Yes, hell has not frozen. I am giving Britt Baker credit here. She improved here. I enjoy her wrestling here. And Red Velvet, she's been good. She's good too. She's sold pretty good for Britt Baker as well. Last time she sold this big was when she went up against Abaddon on AEW Dark. And I'm talking about Red Velvet here. Red Velvet is a pretty good seller, and she knows how to make her opponents look good too. And this was no better. So yeah, Britt Baker won the match here. Obviously, obviously she ain't gonna lose her return. After the match, she goes to put the lockjaw onto Red Velvet, with her glove on and everything, and that was it. So yeah, Britt Baker's back with a vengeance, and yeah, there you go. Hopefully she sticks. Hopefully the improvement sticks on her, because if the improvement wears off of her, then it's back to being shit Baker once again. Announcement for tonight, excuse me. Announcements for tonight's AEW Dynamite show that will also feature Chris Jericho's celebrating his 30-year anniversary in professional wrestling. One so far is Chris Jericho's 30-year anniversary celebration. Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Chaos Project, which is going to feature Dr. Luther and Serpentico. In my opinion, based on how they've been booking Chris Jericho and Dr. Luther of the time being together for 30 years in the business, it should have been Chris Jericho versus Dr. Luther instead of a tag team match. I'm just saying. But they're going for a tag team match, so it's whatever. Brian Cage will defend his FTW World Championship against Will Hobbs. And finally, Mr. Brody Lee defends his AEW TNT Championship against Cody Rhodes in an old school dog collar match. Last time I seen a dog collar match, it was Roddy Piper versus Greg the Hammer Valentine. Which, by the way, folks, after this one, I'm gonna do a live reaction to that before we get to tonight's AW Dynamite show, or just the dog collar match. And by the way, Brody Lee I am back for I apologize for that. But yeah, after this, I'm gonna set up another StreamYard for a live reactions to Roddy Piper versus Great Diamond Valentine, which I'm assuming it was back at the time for the United States Championship in a dog collar match. And those that an old school dog collar match that happened, you know, back in the '80s between Roddy Piper and Greg the Hammer Valentine. So there you go. So, now we get to the main event. The main event will feature Eddie Kingston coming out there to announce who's going to be facing Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship title. So, Eddie Kingston with Penta El0M and Rey Fenix, they were out there and they called and basically Eddie Kingston called out Bryce Remsburg, who knows him for a long time. Basically, he cuts a promo, and everything. So let's get to the promo. Eddie Kingston talks about last week, the match they had with Jon Moxley. He was put into the Bulldog lock. And he didn't tap out. He passed out, and says that Moxley was bothered by ending the of the match, and he wanted to fight him more. He wants to fight another one. Says that he doesn't feel up for the rematch, so he'll pick someone from Moxley to face. But also he wants to talk about Bryce Remsburg. So he calls him out and says to Bryce Remsburg to give him he gives him balls to call the match on that for last week, and says he was unresponsive. Basically, Bryce Remsburg basically said to him that he was unresponsive, and what else was he supposed to do at that point? He had to call for the bell. He did his job. And all of a sudden, Eddie Kingston and the Lucha Bros were teasing to beat him up and everything, but they didn't because Jon Moxley comes out. Jon Moxley comes up with a baseball bat ball wire and chases them out in the ring. And as Moxley's standing in the ring, he's waiting for see who he's gonna face. So Eddie Kingston says, it's kind of promo and everything. He's like, you're not fighting me, like I said already. You're not fighting, Rey Fenix. You're not fighting Penta. You're fighting this guy behind you, and the guy behind him is the Butcher. And Moxley turns around and he gets a big clothesline by the Butcher, and the match begins. So it was Jon Moxley defending his AEW World Championship against the Butcher, and the match went by, folks. And folks, a lot of people said this match was great, awesome, excellent, amazing, good. To me, I thought it was solid. I thought it wasn't exciting. I thought it was bland. I just wasn't into the match. And people saying that based on what Butcher looks like, people are reminded of the Butcher of being Jake the Snake Roberts. Okay. So at one point, the Butcher is not bad. He's not a bad performer. He's not a bad wrestler. I like him. He reminds me of an old school wrestler too, I'm not gonna say he reminds me of Jake Snake Roberts. No, to me he reminds me of one of these old school wrestlers that has a good look. And he wrestles old school and everything. And he's got some good moves too, but based on his performance here, this was his moves basically: punches, stomps, and a front close body. And he tried to do the body muffler submission. I guess he tried like twice. I guess he wasn't doing no good of anything. And I don't remember what else he did in the match because he got no moves. I don't know what, a suplex. Maybe he did a suplex. I can't remember what he did. He did not excite me at all. I don't know how people are excited. Were excited of the Butcher's match against Jon Moxley, but this is one of the matches that I didn't care for, and it was a main event match. I was not excited for this match whatsoever. Maybe if they would have went with the Blade, who's a better wrestler with more moves, I probably enjoyed it more. But based on this match, I didn't care for this match at all. I thought the match itself was not that good at all. Not saying it was a terrible match, I just wasn't into it. And obviously, John Moxley won with the Bulldog choke and got the win. After the match, John Moxley celebrating and everything. And Kisa is losing his mind, and the show off the air after that. That was it. And that was the show of AEW Dynamite. The show from the show from September 30th, 2020. Talking about wrestling, were 6 matches, folks, on the show. And my overall scoring for the show, I'm gonna go because of that main event match. Now I want to give the show a 9 or at least a 10 out of 10. But based on that match, I gotta give it. Not what I give it when I did that reaction. So for safety, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10, or at best a 7.5 out of 10. But either way, the show still. I thought the show was. I thought the show itself was still good. But that main event match, oh man, it really took a lot out of me. I did not care about the match whatsoever. It's, it's not trying to be hard on the butcher, but it's just how I feel. So that's it, folks. That's it. Just give one moment, okay? So that's all the time that I have right now, folks. Thank you all for watching. Again, if this is the first time you're experiencing yours truly, Robert Strand Jr. as the Natural Born Driller. If you haven't subscribed to me already, please hit the subscribe button right now. Also, for the supporters, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like. And to all the haters, if you didn't enjoy this video, hit the dislike. By the way, thank you for joining me, viewing me, spending your time day and night with yours truly, Robert Strand Jr., the Natural Born Driller, right here on YouTube, as I give you the best content I can possibly give you. And if you don't like it, beat it, because no one wants to be defeated. So that being said, you all stay well, stay safe, take care of yourself and everything that's going on in the world, wear your mask, love one another, God bless one another, live in peace and harmony for us all. I am out here, ta-ta for now, for this Natural Born Driller, saying peace on the streets. And tune after this one, folks, because after this one, I'm going to set up another live stream where it pertains to doing a live reaction to Roddy Piper versus Greg the Hammer Valentine in their dog collar match back in the 80s for the United States Championship that they fought for. And that was great too. So I'll see you all later. Take care.